Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Solusha Francis, and this particular episode I'm going to be answering some questions that I have from people. So over time I've been getting lots of questions, and I thought it was necessary for me to harmonize all the questions and then answer them through a means like this so that people get answers to those questions. So I'm going to take all the questions that I had, and then subsequently I'll be doing this from time to time based on the questions that I get. Now, let me also say here that whatever information that I give here, you have the right, okay, to make that decision that suits you or that goes well with you. And you have to be ready to actually live by the decision or by the consequences or the result of your decisions or your actions. So Tolusha is not coming here to tell you you must do this. No, all I'm coming here to do is to answer those questions that you have, and hopefully they give you like a springboard for you to bounce and then finally make those decisions that you need to make. I need to let you know that I'm a mental health professional. I'm a life coach, right? I'm an emotional intelligence professional. All right, and so whatever I'm sharing with you are either based off experiences that I've had with people myself, as well as my professional training. This does not take the place of a coaching service and does not take the place of a therapy session. If you want a professional service, then you have to reach out to me specially. This just basically tries to answer your questions as much as I can. So I'm going to begin with the first question that I have here. So interestingly, I know the people who ask these questions, all right, but of course their names are not going to be mentioned, right, for confidentiality sake. In order to go ahead to answer their questions, I'm sure that when they see the answers, they will know which question is theirs. So let's dive in quickly. So the first question I have here is, why do all men cheat? So first of all, I think it's a general notion that all men cheat. But if you look at it, you would agree with me that it's not all men who cheat. And sometimes we may be tempted to assume that all men cheat, maybe because we are coming from a home where either parent is a cheat, right? Maybe a father was caught cheating and stuff like that. So I decided to check if there's any research that has been done in terms of cheating. What percentage of men cheat? What percentage of women cheat? Now let's look at statistics. I mean, I love to look at statistics. So from the University of Utah, the Department of Family and Consumer Studies, it says research from the past 2 decades. Now this was in 20. Let me see the date. Okay, this was it. So it says research from the past decade shows that 20 to 25% of married men cheat, and between 10 and 15% of married women cheat. Now you can see from there that not all men cheat, not all women cheat, but some do. Now what we need to understand is that cheating is a function of an individual personality. It's a function of a person and not a function of gender. Our society might have made it look like it's okay for a man to cheat, right? Society might have made it look like it's okay for a man to cheat. It's okay for a man to have concubines and stuff like that. But it's not a gender thing. Now I say it's not a gender thing because it is not only one gender who goes ahead to cheat in a marriage or in a relationship, right? It happens to both gender, male, female, even the homosexuals, right? Who have partners, also find their partners cheating. It does exist. I mean, take it from someone who has had reasons to interact with people of the LGBTQ community as a professional, and who has had issues of infidelity, as the case may be. So it's not a function of men or women, it's a function of personality, it's a function of people who make those decisions to cheat. And you may want to ask, so the question should be, why do people cheat? Not necessarily why do men cheat. And if I'm going to answer why do people cheat, is you get several answers because it's an individual thing. It's not a template. It's not something that is written that this is why you would have to cheat. A lot of factors which necessarily are not justified. So yes, some say they're trying to look for a child. Yes, some say he's not as smart as I thought he would be. Yes, some say she's not beautiful anymore as she was when we first met. Different excuses, right? But at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily justify. Now, I won't tell you what to do if you find your partner cheating, right? I think in my 7 years career, the only time I've ever had to tell someone to step aside from a relationship is because there was a case of sexual and gender-based violence, and I did not ask the person to end a relationship, take a break, and then sort things out, because like I often say, the things that happen to us end up affecting our mental health, and the moment your mental health is affected, every other thing around you suffers for it. Your work, your family, those who care about you, they all suffer for it. So I think also know that bit. So why do people cheat is the real question that we should be asking here. And I mean, you really can't tell why, because people have their different reasons why they cheat. People have different reasons why they do what they do. And so you really cannot tell why this person is cheating and why the other person is not cheating. Well, you may say that sometimes people get dissatisfied. Sometimes people become confused about what they want. Sometimes people, the desire to try something new, so yeah, I'm not too sure I have an answer as to why people cheat. You asked why men cheat, and I'm of the school of thought that it's not about men. It's about a person, it's about people, and not necessarily gender. And for perspectives, when we talk about cheating here, we're talking about infidelity, right? Having another male friend or female friend, outside there. You get it? So it's pretty clear. Sometimes greed, sometimes covetousness, dissatisfaction, marital crisis, or crisis in the relationship, or you just realize that you're not fitting in anymore and stuff like that. But here's what I always say, and don't take me to the cleaners. I think that it is better to end a relationship that you're no longer interested in than going out to cheat. Now, let me explain. I think it is better that you call it quits, that you bring the relationship to an end, that you're no longer interested or you're losing interest, rather than going out there to cheat, because you'll be hurting two people, right? And just in case you don't know, there are ladies who all that they are interested in is being the second person. They are not interested in being the wife of that man. No. They are interested in being the second person. They are not even clamoring that the man should marry them or something. They are okay with their position. Even if you ask them to, I cannot marry him. This is at best what we can be to each other, right? And there are men like that too. So it's a function of a consensual, non-formal contractual relationship that exists. So I think it's better, right, if you cannot have a conversation with your partner to iron things out if you're having issues. It's better to walk away from that relationship and let that person know that you're no longer there, and then he or she can go on with someone who would cherish him or her, or treat him or her properly, than going ahead to cheat. That's my own candid advice and candid opinion. Rather than go cheating, end the relationship and let's know that you both are no longer together, and you can go out there to do what you want. If you know that you want multiple partners, then don't get stuck with one person. Know that you are just interested in having different partners. It may sound awkward to some persons, but there are people like that. I remember many years ago. So that's what open relationship. That reminds me, So don't have one person to say, this is my girlfriend, this is my boyfriend. Just have all of them, and then we all know that that's what you're playing. You're playing at. You're not in a committed relationship, as it were, and that's fine. Again, like I said at the beginning, it's your decision, and you have to be ready to live with the consequences of those decisions. Okay. So, second question: is it okay to date a younger man as a lady? This question, it's higher apart. When it comes to the issue of dating, in terms of age, it's a personal decision. It's a personal decision because you must be ready to ask yourself, can I deal with this? There is a sense of responsibility that would come to you, and sometimes some sense of mental torture may come your way if you're dating someone who is younger than you and not as smart as you'd want your partner, your lover, to be. So you could be 30 and you're dating a 27-year-old guy, yet the wisdom, the intelligence, the smartness of that guy is probably 40-year-old. Because it's also possible for a guy of 30 to be dating a lady of 27, yet our thinking, our level of intelligence is very low. So it's a function of what's the length, what's the distance, the gap that you're able to manage. How much younger are you able to accept? I have dated ladies who are 2 years older than I am, right? I didn't have any issues with it. I've seen couples in which the wife is 10 years older than the husband, and you wouldn't know, right? So it's important that, and I've also seen couples where the husband is 10 years older than the woman, and you can see the gap where the woman appears to be more matured than the man. I often say this, that ladies mature quickly and faster than men do, and in handling situations, they get there faster than men do. You can beat me for it. I'm in my house. But don't look at it as age, right? So sit down and ask yourself 3 questions that I'll say you should ask yourself is: 1, do I want to do this? First of all, do I want to do this kind of relationship? I understand that sometimes you meet that one person and it's like, where have you been all this while? And you love this person. You feel something beyond feelings for this person, right? And you want it, but then you ask and you see that there is an age difference. So first of all, ask yourself, do I want this? Secondly, ask yourself, how much of an understanding of this person do I have? In terms of age aside, am I able to interact with this person in a way that I can tell myself, yes, this guy is top notch. He's got good brains. He's smart. If we go out together and I'm with my own age bracket, they won't even know that he's younger. And a lot of things, play out. The kind of conversations that you have, how he responds to issues, how he handles issues, how he dresses and stuff like that. If you go back to one of my videos that talk about attachment styles, right? It's important that you also check some of those things, right? It's important that you check some of those things because you begin to see that a lot of times these things play out, right, in relationships. So 1, I said check if you really want to do this. 2, check if you're able to hold conversations with this person, and when you go out, this person is able to hold it down with your own age group. And then thirdly, you need to ask yourself, will I be able to present this to my family? See, especially if you come from a country like Nigeria, where your parents get to scrutinize your partner or your would-be partner, as the case may be. There are certain questions that they would ask you that you may not be able to answer. So if you know you cannot answer those questions, begin to answer them now. But it's one thing is very clear. Your ability to protect your partner in the presence of your parents is a skill that you need to learn. Even if you want to date a younger guy, you must prepare yourself as to how you would answer certain questions that would come from your parents or your family members, as the case may be. Are you going to tell them his age? Or it's not going to matter? I mean, you must understand your family dynamics, right? And you must understand people in your family and how to relate to them and handle them. Because in the end, it's your decision. In the end, who you set out to date or be with is initially your decision, but at the end of the day, it becomes everybody's decision, right? Because as Africans, we hold on to family very much, and so you don't want to have a partner that feels alienated from the family just because he or she feels they're not welcome. So think about those things. The third question: is it okay to live with your boyfriend? Leave? No. And I'll tell you why. In my work experience, I've come to realize that living in with your boyfriend creates room for what we call see finish in that informal English setting. What that means is it can create room for a lack of respect from your boyfriend. And then he begins to feel like he's the one feeding you, is the one providing for you, and if care is not taken, he becomes controlling. Yeah. He who plays the piper dictates the tune. So if you're living with your boyfriend, is the one paying the bills and stuff like that, he calls the shots. It's his house. It's his fucking house, right? And you talk and he tells you, I feed you, I clothe you, I house you, and stuff like that. Even if you're contributing to the bills, my dear sister, don't live in with your boyfriend. It's okay to go spend a weekend. It's okay to say, okay, you want to spend a week with him and stuff like that. But please don't live in. No matter how tough situations may be, I would rather you stay with another female or another friend that you think you can stay with, because I know people can have male friends that they trust and stuff like that, but not with your boyfriend. Please and please, don't create problems that can affect your mental health, where someone begins to treat you like a nobody, someone begins to treat you like you have nothing to offer him or to contribute to the relationship. So please and please, don't live in with your boyfriend as much as possible. If you can avoid it, avoid it. But in situations where you cannot avoid it, I mean, it means that you have no choice and stuff. I can only wish you the very best and trust that things, don't go south. Just the fourth question: is it bad if you hardly get bothered by things? Yes and no. So it's not bad in the sense that perhaps you have all things figured out or you don't get bothered about things, but it's also important that there's a difference between you being carefree and you not getting bothered, right? Do you care about things that matter to you, or do you just take life as it comes? Some people are not very bothered about things because they know what they can control and what they cannot control, and they live by that, right? So it's okay if you are that kind of person who doesn't really get bothered by things that you cannot control. It's because there's a difference between you getting bothered and you being able to plan and sort things out, and also you don't get bothered. Work on solutions, find solutions, rather than you getting bothered and you're thinking and thinking and thinking. The most important thing is that you try as much as possible to find solutions to those things that you think you want to change or that you want to improve on. So that's what I'm going to say about that. Yeah, there's an interesting question. What other career would you have pursued aside your current one? So earlier on in my life, I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be many things growing up as a child, from being a journalist to being a newscaster to being a lawyer. But at some point, I settled down to being a lawyer. So I was in the arts department until my stubbornness and my troublesome behavior and my rebellious nature took a toll on me, and my parents stopped me from going to school. I was in SS1, yeah, that's senior secondary school one, which is like our own high school here in Nigeria. And then my parents stopped me from going to school. I think like second term, yeah. And I was supposed to go through some form of rehabilitation. Yeah, I used to be very, 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 like, I used to be a miscreant, so forget this responsible looking guy that you're seeing. So by the time I was to return back to school, I realized I wanted to be a doctor. So I went back to GSS 3, which is like the terminal class for junior high school. And to that point, I realized that, man, I want to study medicine. So when I was to get back into the senior school, I went straight to the sciences, and chemistry is my favorite subject. I love chemistry, right? So, but then life happened after 2 years of chasing medicine. Medicine didn't work out, so I was supposed to study medicine when I went to Bowen University, but it still didn't work out. I was given anatomy. I stuck to biochemistry, so I studied biochemistry first, but I knew I was going to work with it. So what would I have done? So if medicine had come my way, I would have done medicine. As at then, I would have specialized in oncology. Oncology is the study of cancer, right? And that was based on the fact that I lost my mother, my paternal grandmother, to cancer. And that kind of like hit me hard. And I was like, you, this cancer, I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to research you. And if I find you, I'll deal with you. But it didn't work out. But with hindsight, if I go into medicine now, I'll do psychiatry, right? So medicine didn't come. I knew I was going to work with biochemistry. So I began my work in supply chain while trying to figure out my life. And then when I realized that I had grief issues that I had not dealt with, and I carried that for about 8 years, 2005 to 2013, it spurred me to begin to dig into the world of psychology and brain functioning and cognition. And that was how my mental health journey started. Then I began to study psychology, neuro-linguistic programming, life coaching, nutrition, a whole lot of other things, So two career that I would have chosen if I'm not doing what I'm doing now is probably product management. I love tech. I love products. So right now I do review products for people because I'm certified in product management from two organizations. So yeah, product management is something I probably would be doing full time, right? I'm not doing full time now, but I do take consultancy roles to check products, and I work with startups who are launching products to review. Also, there's also something that I do now that I enjoy, and that's working in the e-commerce sector, or the tech part of supply chain. So I have about 8 to 9 years experience in that industry, and it's just chilling. I don't think I can work in non-techy places. I will struggle. Like, I'm so used to tech, like I will struggle. I remember growing up, my dad had thought I was going to study IT, right? So he was shocked I didn't pick IT because of my love for gadgets and tech stuff. But it's something that I still do. I design websites, I review products, I consult for companies. And one of the reasons why I went for an MBA, which I finished last year, was to help me understand the startup space and innovation. So my MBA, I majored in innovation, and innovation and I can't remember the other, but I paid much attention to innovation, because I mean that's one thing that I love, right? So yeah, maybe product management, and then what would have been the second thing? I really don't know, because I don't think anything outside of IT interests me, right? And I've done a lot of trainings and certifications around that. I've done data analytics, I've done product management, so I keep growing myself, I keep studying. I love academics. So I think the next is for me is to either get another master's and then a PhD, or a PhD straight. So that is that. I hope I was able to answer your questions. If there are still questions that you want me to answer, please don't forget the link to the form is in the description below. Drop your questions there and I will attend to them again. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the notification bell. And I'll see you next time. Bye.